Welcome to the Nation of History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Howard Carter excavating a tomb in Egypt in 1922. The image shows the archaeologist at work during the discovery of significant ancient artifacts. This photo helps understand the history of archaeological discoveries in Egypt in the early 20th century. On December 28, 1890, the last Deadwood stagecoach run gathered many people. The photo shows a large group of men dressed in period clothing, some standing and others seated on the coach. A Cheyenne and Arapaho delegation in Colorado on September 28, 1864. The image shows members of these indigenous communities gathered, representing an important moment of meeting and dialogue. This photo helps understand the history and relationships between indigenous peoples and other groups in the 19th century. A Sioux Indian encampment around 1882. The image shows traditional tents and people living in that space. This photo helps understand the way of life and culture of the Sioux people in the late 19th century. The Mormon emigrant train in Echo Canyon around 1870. The image shows several covered wagons pulled by horses with many people gathered. This photo helps understand the journey and challenges faced by groups traveling through the western United States at that time. Taos Pueblo, New Mexico, photographed between 1879 and 1894. The image shows traditional buildings and members of the local indigenous community. This photo helps understand the culture and way of life of indigenous peoples in the southwestern United States in the late 19th century. The Wawona Tunnel Tree in Yosemite National Park, photographed in 1932. The image shows a large tree with a tunnel carved through its trunk, used for vehicle passage. This photo helps understand natural attractions and tourism in the early 20th century. The advance of civilization at the end of the rails near Iron Point, California, photographed between 1865 and 1869. The image shows the progress of railroad construction, an important milestone for development. Red Mountain Town, Colorado, around 1890. The image shows a small mountain town surrounded by trees and peaks. Houses and buildings are scattered throughout the area, reflecting life in a western U.S. community in the late 19th century. A lariat and cattle exchange scene on the Cheyenne River, photographed between 1887 and 1892. The image shows people engaged in activities related to cattle handling near the river. This photo helps understand work and life in the western United States in the late 19th century. Cowboys lassoing a buffalo on the plains, photographed between 1887 and 1892. The image shows the work of ranch hands managing wild cattle in the region. This photo helps understand cowboy life and activities in the western United States in the late 19th century. Gold dust placer mining in Rockerville, South Dakota, photographed in 1889. The image shows men working with equipment to separate gold from sand and gravel. This photo helps understand the techniques and effort involved in mining in the late 19th century. The Gould and Curry Smelting Works in Virginia City, Nevada, around 1867. The image shows the facilities used to smelt metals extracted from local mines. This photo helps understand industry and mining in the western United States during the 19th century. In Deadwood, South Dakota, around 1890, the Deadwood and Delaware smelter appear in the image. The site was used to process minerals extracted from the region. The photo shows buildings and equipment of the era, helping understand the local industry in the late 19th century. A photographer taking photos on the Aquarius Plateau, Utah, around the late 19th century. The image shows the work of documenting the region's landscapes and people. This photo helps understand how photography was used to document the western United States at that time. Bridge Street in Helena, Montana, photographed in 1865. The image shows a busy street with carriages, people, and wooden buildings. This photo helps understand life and commerce in western U.S. towns in the 19th century. Oklahoma City, Indian Territory, photographed on June 11, 1889. The image shows the city growing during an important period of development and change in the region. This photo helps understand the history and expansion of towns in the western United States in the late 19th century. South Park and Mount Lincoln, Colorado, around 1878. The image shows the region's natural landscape, including mountains and open spaces. This photo helps understand the environment in the western United States in the late 19th century. A scene atop the Sierra Nevada mountains around 1866. The image shows the mountainous landscape and natural environment of the region. This photo helps understand the geography and beauty of mountains in the western United States in the 19th century. Bear River City, Utah, photographed in 1868. The image shows a community with period-typical buildings reflecting regional growth. This photo helps understand what towns in the western United States look like in the 19th century. Navajo Indigenous people near Old Fort Defiance, New Mexico, photographed in 1873. The image shows community members in their traditional environment. This photo helps understand the culture and life of Indigenous peoples in the southwestern United States in the 19th century. The Northern Pacific Station in Wahpeton, North Dakota, photographed between 1880 and 1889. The image shows the station building and people in the area, reflecting the importance of railroads for transport and town growth at the time. Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas, photographed before 1875. The image shows the city's main street with period-typical buildings and people. This photo helps understand what urban centers in Texas looked like during the 19th century. A pioneer cabin in Calaveras Big Trees State Park, California, around 1886. The image shows a simple structure used by settlers who helped colonize the region. This photo helps understand what dwellings looked like in the western United States in the late 19th century. A prospector at Pikes Peak around 1900. The image shows the individual in front of their work area, searching for valuable minerals. This photo helps understand the life and effort of explorers in the region at that time. The facade of the Paul McCormick store in Junction City, Montana, photographed in 1885. The image shows local commerce, which was vital to the town's community. This photo helps understand daily life and the development of small towns in the western United States in the late 19th century. A school photo at the Pine Grove Mining Camp in Nevada, around 1895 to 1896. The image shows children and adults gathered, representing education in small, isolated communities at the time. This photo helps understand life and social organization in mining camps in the late 19th century. The Tollgate Saloon in Black Hawk, Colorado, photographed in 1897. The image shows a saloon, a common gathering place where people socialized and relaxed. This photo helps understand social life in western U.S. towns in the late 19th century. At Military Plaza in San Antonio, Texas in 1887, people gather at an open-air market. The image shows stalls, vendors, and buyers in a busy space. This photo helps understand daily life and commerce in the city at that time. Fort Sill, Indian Territory, viewed from the southeast, photographed in 1889. The image shows the fort with its buildings and surrounding land. This photo helps understand military presence and organization in the region during the late 19th century. The Dickinson Store and Post Office in Missoula, Montana, around 1870. The image shows the store and post office buildings, which were important for commerce and communication in the town. This photo helps understand daily life and community development in the western United States in the 19th century. Main Street in Elkhart, Texas. The image shows the city's main street with period-typical buildings and people. This photo helps understand daily life and the development of small towns in Texas. Cubero, New Mexico, around 1867. The image shows a small community with period-typical buildings. This photo helps understand what towns and villages looked like in the southwestern United States during the 19th century. Silver mining on Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado, between 1870 and 1890. The image shows activities related to silver extraction with people and equipment in the mountainous area. This photo helps understand the importance of mining for regional development in the late 19th century. A native kit from southeastern Idaho, around 1897. The image shows objects and tools used by indigenous peoples of the region. This photo helps understand the culture and way of life of indigenous communities in the late 19th century. 4 prospectors pose on a trail in Alaska around 1897. They worked searching for valuable minerals such as gold during that period. The image shows the natural environment and the equipment used at the time to explore the region. The post office in Chilkat, Alaska, between 1894 and 1895. The image shows the post office building, which was vital for communication in the region at the time. The location helped people send and receive messages and mail in a remote area of the country. Leisure moments at the Corps of Engineers camp and visitors in 1889. The image shows people gathered, enjoying a moment of rest and camaraderie during work. This photo helps understand daily life and social relations in camps of that era. A rural area in Nebraska, photographed by Solomon. The image shows a countryside landscape with crops and simple buildings. This photo helps understand rural life in the United States in the late 19th or early 20th century. Freight transport in the Black Hills, photographed between 1887 and 1892. The image shows vehicles and people involved in hauling supplies in the mountainous region. This photo helps understand work and commerce in the western United States in the late 19th century. A freight convoy in Skagway, Alaska, around 1897. The image shows vehicles and people hauling supplies in a mountainous area. This photo helps understand transportation and work in remote Alaskan regions in the late 19th century. The Comanche horseback camp at Fort Sill, Indian Territory, around 1873. The image shows tents and Comanche community members on site. This photo helps understand the way of life and culture of indigenous peoples in that region in the 19th century. Departure for caribou in Beaver City, Alaska, photographed in 1899. The image shows people and equipment ready for the journey. This photo helps understand travel and transportation in remote Alaskan areas in the late 19th century. Apaches in Nome, Alaska. The image shows members of the Apache people in their community. This photo helps understand the presence and culture of Indigenous peoples in different regions of the United States. A passenger wagon for visitors at the Sutro Tunnel, Nevada, around the 1860s and 1870s. The image shows a vehicle used to transport people in a mining area. This photo helps understand what transport was like in mining regions of the western United States in the 19th century. The Crescent City Saloon in Orange, Texas, photographed in 1888. The image shows a saloon where people gathered to socialize and relax. This photo helps understand social life in southern U.S. towns in the late 19th century. Ogden City, Utah. The image shows the city with its buildings and streets, reflecting urban growth in the western United States. This photo helps understand what towns in the region look like during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Boomers in Oklahoma. The image shows people who took part in the land run movement for opening up territory for settlement. This photo helps understand an important moment in the development history of the western United States. 3 women and 1 man, all in uniform and on horseback at Fort Verde, Arizona, photographed between 1881 and 1887. The image shows people dressed for service, reflecting aspects of life and responsibilities at that time. Dick Liatham returning home in Wyoming, photographed in 1888. The image shows an individual in their environment, representing daily life in the region. This photo helps understand history and lifestyle in the western United States in the late 19th century. A Pueblo native with a lariat around 1890. The image shows a person using a traditional tool for cattle handling. This photo helps understand aspects of culture and work of Indigenous peoples in the southwestern United States in the late 19th century. A Mexican house called a ranchita in New Mexico, photographed between 1880 and 1890. The image shows a typical regional building used as a residence and for rural activities. A cowboy from the XIT Ranch in the Texas Panhandle around the early 20th century. The image shows the rural worker who tended cattle and land. This photo helps understand ranch life and the role of cowboys in western U.S. history. A horse-drawn vehicle, photographed between 1880 and 1910. The image shows a common mode of transport before automobiles became widespread. This photo helps understand how people traveled in urban and rural areas in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Immigrants passing through San Angelo, Texas, around 1885 to 1890. The image shows people on the move, likely seeking new opportunities in the region. This photo helps understand migration flows and community formation in the western United States in the late 19th century. Indigenous people gathered in a circle in Havre, Montana. The image shows individuals participating in a community meeting or event. This photo helps understand the traditions and social life of Indigenous peoples in the region. H.W. Elliot, photographed by William Henry Jackson during the Hayden expedition around 1870. The image shows an important figure of the era, recorded during a scientific and exploratory study of the western United States. A family having a picnic by the roadside with a 1919 Ford model car. The image shows people enjoying an outdoor leisure moment with the car parked nearby. This photo helps understand life and transportation in the early 20th century. The Buena Vista Ranch in Kern County, California, photographed between 1883 and 1888. The image shows the rural area with crops and typical period buildings. This photo helps understand agricultural life in California in the late 19th century. In Hills, South Dakota, in 1890, the image shows people and buildings typical of the era. This photo helps understand what communities in the western United States looked like in the late 19th century. An Indian reservation at Rancho Tejon in Kern County, California, around the 1890s. The image shows the environment where indigenous peoples lived in the region. This photo helps understand the history and way of life of indigenous communities at that time. On Front Street in Dodson, Montana, the main road shows various shops and a restaurant. The image was taken when vehicles were horse-drawn. This photo helps understand what small towns in the western U.S. looked like during that period. An old prospector in front of his driftwood home in Nome, Alaska, around 1905. The image shows the life of explorers seeking resources in the region. This photo helps understand living conditions and lifestyle in Alaska in the early 20th century. In Pawnee City, Nebraska, around 1869, people and period-typical buildings appear in the image. The photo captures daily life in a small western U.S. town. In Arapano, Oklahoma Territory, around 1894, a busy street shows people and horse-drawn carriages in motion. The location features typical period buildings and reflects the community's active life. The image helps understand what towns in the territory looked like before statehood. On Broad Street in Globe, Arizona, around the 1890s, the street shows buildings typical of the era. People and vehicles moved along the town's main thoroughfare. This image helps us understand what western U.S. towns looked like in the late 19th century. Front Street in Palestine, Texas, around 1880. The image shows a busy street with people, carriages, and animals, as well as period-typical buildings. This photo helps understand urban life and transportation in Texas in the late 19th century. Officers' quarters at the camp in Arizona Territory, photographed in 1871. The image shows the buildings used for military officers' housing in the region. This photo helps understand military organization and life in the western U.S. territories in the 19th century. In Mingusville, Montana, around 1867, people traveled by horse-drawn stagecoach. The stagecoach was a common mode of transport for long journeys, especially in rural areas. In Mingusville, Montana, on June 23, 1890, people were traveling by horse-drawn stagecoach. The stagecoach was a common mode of transport for long journeys, especially in rural areas. Several people are shown sitting on the roof and inside the vehicle, which followed dirt roads bordered by trees. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, please use the Super Thanks tool below. Your contribution helps us keep bringing you amazing historical content. Thank you so much for your support, and see you in the next video.